How do pawn structures impact line openings? Have you ever wondered how pawn structures influence the way a chess game unfolds right from the start? Let's break it down. Pawn structures play a key role in shaping the strategic and tactical possibilities in chess. The way pawns are arranged, known as the pawn structure, can determine if the game will be open or closed, affecting how pieces move and control important squares. When you choose your opening moves, you set the stage for certain pawn formations. For instance, the move one pawn to e4 followed by one pawn to e5 leads to different structures than one pawn to d4 followed by one pawn to d5. Each of these openings creates unique situations that can impact your strategy. There are 5 main types of pawn structures that often arise from openings. First, we have the closed center. This happens when multiple central files are blocked by pawns, limiting piece movement. Openings like the advanced French defense can lead to these structures. Here, knights typically shine more than bishops because the pawns restrict the long-range movement of bishops. Next is the mobile center. In this case, one side has a strong pawn center that offers space and chances for advancement. The Grunfeld defense often creates this type of structure. The tension in the center leads to complex maneuvering and tactical opportunities. Then we have the static center. This structure is locked with pawns but does not have fully open files. The exchange variations of the queen's gambit can produce these situations. Here, players focus on improving their pieces gradually and preparing for pawn breaks. The open center is another important structure. At least one central file is open, allowing pieces like bishops and queens to move freely. Openings such as the exchange French lead to these scenarios, favoring rapid piece activity and tactical skirmishes. Lastly, we have the amorphous center. This is where positions do not fit neatly into the other categories. Openings like the Najdorf Sicilian create flexible structures that can shift dynamically. Understanding these pawn structures helps players choose openings that suit their style, whether they prefer positional play or aggressive tactics. It also allows players to anticipate their opponent's plans and spot weaknesses like isolated or backward pawns. In practical terms, knowing how pawn structures impact line openings can guide your decisions. You might choose openings that lead to structures you are comfortable with. Planning pawn breaks at the right moment can open lines for your pieces or disrupt your opponent's center. Additionally, you can use your knowledge of pawn structures to position your pieces effectively. For example, placing knights on strong squares supported by pawns can be very effective. You can also look for weaknesses in your opponent's pawn structure, such as attacking isolated pawns or weak squares. In essence, pawn structures are fundamental to chess strategy and directly impact line openings. They shape the game from the very beginning, influencing tactical opportunities and long-term plans. Understanding these concepts is essential for navigating the game effectively.